All right, you are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff-bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Washington Commanders. And why are the Washington Commanders 0-16? Because they suck. Everybody in the NFC East, except for the Giants, sucks. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if there's anybody going to spend any time watching or any the replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away, throw it in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. And plus, instead of me rambling on for like half an hour, if not longer, it's nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free, fire away. Before we get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon, second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third membership level is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them, so if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me, and I thank you in advance. If you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. That way, next time I go live or put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. I can use all the support I can get. Thank you. And then finally, in the description box below, there's 2 Facebook links. The top one takes you to my Facebook group. Okay, it's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron, but it's a group. What do we got here? We have over 3,400 members. We just went over the 3,400 member mark a couple days ago. We were holding tight at 3,300 for a little while, but we just managed to get over the 3,400 member mark a couple days ago. I put stuff in here. It's 7 days a week. Usually what happens when I get done doing the video, going live here, I'll spend probably like the next couple hours putting stuff in the group and in the page, whether it's a post, a picture, something showing some stats, a video, anything, something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys. Those are some of my personal favorites, right? There's a ton of stuff going in here every day. And not only do I put stuff in here, but if you become a member, the members post stuff in here as well, too. So there's a ton of New York Giants information going into the group every day. And then the second Facebook link, takes you to my, it's a Facebook page. Okay. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron, but it's a page. Basically, and I say this in every video, my YouTube channel, Facebook group, Facebook page, it's all called pretty much the same thing, like the New York Giants, the Gridiron. That way, I say like a moron like me, I can remember. I don't, what's the group called? Is my page called something different than the YouTube? It's all called the same thing. That makes it easy on me. All right. But what do we got? For the page, New York Giants, the Gridiron, the page, we have over 1,300 people who like it, and there's over 5,000 people who are following it. It's really doing good. It's really taking off. But in the page here, I'm the administrator, so I'm the only one to post anything in here, but it's the same thing. 7 days a week, I'm always putting stuff in here. Once I get done talking, going live here, I'll spend probably the next couple of hours just putting stuff in here. As I said, it's, video, a post, something showing some stats, a picture of a modern day player, an older player, all kinds of stuff I put in here. And I don't really like commingle, right? So basically, whatever I post in the page, I don't put in the group, and vice versa. Whatever I put in the group, I don't put in the page, right? Every now and then there's something that really makes fun of the Eagles. I just want to share it with everybody. That's what I live for. That's what I get up, and that's what I breathe for. That's why I exist on this earth, to make fun of the Philadelphia Eagles. So if I see something that's really funny, that just makes fun of the Eagles, I just got to share it with everybody. So I might put that in the group and in the page. All right. But other than that, I probably pretty much keep everything separate. And if you, as I said, if you go to the two, you get a ton of New York Giants information every day. And as I say all the time, right? If you go to the group and you become a member, and you go to the page and you like it and you follow it, and if you don't like what you see, you get your money back, guaranteed. All right, all that stuff said and done and out of the way with. Well, they had the OTAs today. Apparently, there were 4 guys in this article that were turning heads. Of course, one of them is Mr. Darren Waller. Let's see, what is this? Fan sided G-Men HQ. 4 New York Giant players who are already turning heads at OTAs. Yeah, apparently Mr. Waller is he's turning some heads. He's looks, if he can stay healthy. Let's hope he can stay healthy. I think, for a third round pick, I think well worth it. Well worth it, without question. Let's see here. Darren Waller, easily one of the biggest additions for the Giants this offseason. Darren Waller really started things off with a bang on Monday, according to the Giants website. Waller caught 2 early touchdown passes from Daniel Jones during drills and then added another one not too long after. With his massive frame, Waller is no question an elite red zone target for Danny Dimes. He's a matchup problem for Giants defensive backs right now at OTAs, and that's going to be the exact same case for the other DBs across the league once the campaign arrives. Oh, yeah. His height? Oh, yeah. His athleticism? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Waller has an incredible amount of potential to be a major threat in Mike Kafka's offense. Oh, yeah, absolutely. The thing is now it's for Dable and Kafka, right, to start diagram plays to scheme to get him open. Obviously to maybe to draw attention to Waller, which might leave so-and-so wide open or on single coverage over here, or get Waller going that way, get somebody going this way, get Saquon out of the backfield over here, which winds up leaving this guy cutting across the middle wide open. So they got to get their minds going on how to scheme these guys up. But I mean, I'm sure they're going to be putting this guy anywhere and everywhere. I wouldn't even be surprised to see the guy coming out of the backfield. Right? I mean, could you imagine him in the backfield with Saquon? Daniel Jones drops out, and those 2 guys, come out of the backfield. Could be pretty special. Unfortunately, said, which our problem is that since Waller's missed a lot of action over the past 2 years with multiple different injuries. Joe Shane knew all about this, obviously. It's not like, oh my God, he was injured. I didn't know that. Yeah, so he's not overly concerned with his health issues in the past. If Waller can stay close to 100% from start to finish, then it'll be so much fun to watch for this team. He's off to a great start in OTAs. Oh yeah, I mean, it's just going to show you. I mean, he's special. He is special, and it's nice, to have that S word out there. I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean, it's I guess maybe in a different way. I mean, when you start throwing the S word out there, special. I mean, you got like OBJ was obviously. He was a weapon, special. He had his own way of obviously catching passes and getting open and everything. But Waller's just a straight up mismatch. I mean, he's could be very exciting, very very exciting. One of the other persons that has been turning heads, which is good to hear, is Nick McLeod. That's good. Since when you think of the Giants cornerback room, Nick McLeod's not the first one necessarily comes to your mind, right? You got Adoree Jackson, first round pick. Deontay Banks comes to mind. Even Darnay Holmes, who was fantastic during day 2 of the OTAs, is another big name guy that fans have their eyes on. But I mean, let's not keep in mind that Darnay Holmes, if they were to let him go, they will save themselves about $2.75 million toward the salary cap. And he did not come with this regime. So, I mean, if it winds up coming down, because we got a plethora of defensive backs. We got offensive linemen coming out the frickin' wazoo. We got wide receivers coming out the frickin' wazoo. We got defensive backs out the wazoo. I mean, we got, man. Let's see. Well, go ahead and add cornerback Nick McLeod to your list of intriguing guys to focus on this season. I think it's his third year. If I looked and saw it, he's from Notre Dame, so I'm pulling for him. That's my college. Notre Dame, of course, they'll never win another college championship, especially as long as I'm alive. But I mean, he came from Buffalo, right? So they got him in free agency in 21, right? So the final season that Daboll and Shane were there, they had him there. So there's a little bit of familiarity there. Buffalo waived him with a partially guaranteed contract. Cincinnati got him. Cincinnati waived him. And then they came back to Buffalo. Then they activated him. And then they wind up waiving him. And of course, now that with Shane and Daboll, they picked him up. They claimed him off of waivers from Buffalo back in August of last year. Okay, so he's been with the Giants pretty much for a year. Now, I'll tell you what. I mean, if he can take another step forward, according to PFF, I'm not going to sit here and say, I watched every play he's done and this, that. I'm not going to certainly not say that. But, I mean, if you look, last year, 2022, he played 231 special team snaps, 24 on kickoff returns, 52 kick coverage, 47 on punt return, 42 on punt coverage, and field goal block. He was on 66 of them. He graded out overall at 87. Okay. According to PFF. Okay. I'm not going to say here, as I said, I watched every one of these snaps and I graded them out and I graded them in an 83. I'm not going to say that. This is why I have PFF. This is why I pay my yearly subscription to PFF. They do that hard work for me. So 87, that's pretty good. So, I mean, he's good on special teams. But then, I mean, if you look, I mean, even last year, I mean, he played in quite a few games. What do we got? He didn't play in the first 4 weeks of the season, and he didn't play in the 6th week. Quite possibly because maybe we were healthy, didn't need him. Blah 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 blah. Maybe, it's before Adoree Jackson got injured too, right? But he played in weeks 5, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, the wild card game in the divisional playoffs. He played in 583 snaps for the New York Football Giants last year. 583. He was on the field a lot last year. Now, once again, according to Pro Football Focus, his overall defensive grade was a 65.6. Right? He's only 24. I think his contract is $940,000 this year. This is his 3rd season. I mean, these are the types of guys you need on your team. These are the types of guys you pull for. So let's hope he can keep this up. His run defense was a 68.2 last year. His tackling was an 80.2. The only grade, I mean, really, in the divisional playoffs against Philly, do we have missed tackles on here? Yeah, yes, we do. Oh, he missed a tackle. He missed one tackle. So his tackling grade against the divisional playoffs, when I'm going to say Philly smoked us. I mean, that's not even doing justice. When Philly beat us by a couple touchdowns in the playoffs, he graded out at 26.3. But other than that, he missed one tackle all year. If you take out the Philly game, he missed one tackle in the Philly game. Other than that, all right, every other game he played in, he missed one tackle all season long. He graded his tackling was an 80.2. His pass rush was a 66.7. I mean, he probably didn't get sent very often. His coverage grade was a 63.8. Once again, very respectable. I mean, is he Deion Sanders? Is he a shutdown corner? No. But is he somebody you can really use on your team? Absolutely. You need guys like this. You know, it's so important to have guys like this. Guys at the bottom of the money chart, shall we say, down at the bottom, right? Who don't make a lot of money. They're young. Hopefully, you know, he might take a little step forward, might get a little bit better this year. So it's really good to hear. Really, really good to hear. Nick McLeod's been, you know, doing really, really well. Very, very happy for him. That's great. That's great. McLeod, it says here in this article, McLeod is an under-the-radar guy who can make quite the impact on this team. Yep. According to the Giants website, McLeod posted multiple pass deflections during the first day of OTAs, including one going up against Waller that prevented the Giants TE from celebrating another touchdown. That's big time right there. Last season for the Giants, his first with Big Blue, McLeod appeared in 14 games for Daboll, making 8 starts. He finished the year with 43 total tackles and 1.5 sacks. Again, he may not be the biggest name in the Giants defense. No, he's not, that's for sure. But he's impressing the staff at OTAs and is never going to make life easy for opposing pass catchers. He's a hardworking dude who also is easy to root for. Absolutely. Absolutely. I hope he keeps it up, man. It'd be absolutely freaking fantastic. Because, I mean, let's face it, we got some question marks, right? Do we have, I mean, especially going like next year, right? I mean, it doesn't really appear that Adoree Jackson is going to be around for the long haul. Does not appear like that at all. What's up, Terrence? Jones and Waller are really bonding. Yeah, that's good. That's good. You like to see that. Yeah. That's good. As I said, hopefully we get Saquon in there because, you know, Danny Dimes and Saquon, they got their friendship and all that stuff. So, I mean, let's hope. I mean, that'd be fantastic. But with Waller, I mean, I'm not Waller, McLeod, right? I mean, I said, if we start looking at, you know, I mean, especially I said like next season, right? If it doesn't seem like we're going to be doing anything with Adoree Jackson. I mean, it looks like quite possibly. I mean, unless he has some kind of an unbelievable, you know, phenomenal, fantastic season here, and the Giants, you know, want to keep him around. You know, I mean, a nickel. I mean, you know, who's, you know, the nickel back? I mean, honest, I got a chart here that says Darnay Holmes, the nickel back, is the first string. Nick McLeod, second string. Zion Gilbert would be the third string. But then I said the cornerbacks. You got Deonte Banks at one. You got Adoree Jackson at the other. But I mean, after that, I mean, you know, who's, yeah, I say, you know, we got Trey Hawkins. We don't forget about Leonard Johnson too from Duke. Let's not forget him. We signed him to a 3-year deal, so keep an eye on him. But with Darius Williams, he was a healthy scratch. Trey Hawkins may not be able to quite ready just to step in this season. He might be a little bit of a project for maybe a year. Maybe if he makes a team, might be special teams. But Aaron Robinson, can he stay healthy? You know, Zion Gilbert, they got him in the third string right here. But Amani Oruwariye, 2 years ago, he was great. Last year, his nickname was Toast. Jamon Green, we got Cordell Flott. I mean, so we got some questions. There's like nobody, you know, we got Deonte Banks. Yep. So I'm thinking like next year, we got Deonte Banks. Yep. Who else? I mean, as I said, is Darnay Holmes going to be here? We're going to let him go to save some salary cap money. Adoree Jackson will probably be gone. You know, we're going to need another cornerback to step up. You know, who's going to be who's the slot cornerback, you know. So we got a lot of questions at cornerback. We got a lot of guys. We got a lot of guys who can step up. I'm not saying we're going to have the best defense, the best secondary in football. Not even going to come close to saying that. But we got a lot of guys who could step up. I'm dying to see Aaron Robinson actually stay healthy, see what he can do. I'm really anxious, but some guys just keep getting bitten by the injury bug. So, but I mean, it's good to see Nick McLeod is you know, it's good. Somebody to pull for. One of the other guys you're talking about who's taken off is Mr. Jalin Hyatt. the third rounder himself. On Monday, Jalin Hyatt started his first OTA with the Giants with a touchdown pass from fellow rookie Tommy DeVito. I don't know. I'll have to see how Tommy does, but well, I hope he does good. But I'm not counting on him too much long term, but we'll see. Hyatt also saw reps returning punts. While this may be a small sample size, there's no denying that Hyatt has people excited about what he can do with this team moving forward. His impressive wheels are the main reason why. Absolutely. Hyatt has blazing speed. No one can argue that. What's so exciting about Hyatt is that he somehow fell to the third round in the draft. When the Giants were on the clock at 57 overall in the second round, they were ready to they didn't know if they were going to take Hyatt or Schmitz. Like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Who are we going to take? Because if we take Schmitz, Hyatt will be gone. We'll never get him. If we draft Hyatt, we'll never get Schmitz. What are we going to do? Well, they got both of them, right? With Hyatt still available in the third round, Dable and Shane worked their magic. Actually, Dable, he worked his magic, contacted the Rams, McVay, right? And made a trade. Whether it being catching balls from Jones or making plays on special teams, Hyatt figures to be a big-time contributor for his team in 23 and beyond. With him hoping to add some muscle before week 1, too. It's only going to help him become tougher to bring down. Yeah. Now, the thing is, it's like, can he add on like 10 pounds and still keep that speed? I mean, that's his biggest asset is the speed. So you don't want to mess with that too much. And then finally, they get Daniel Bellinger, somebody else turning heads. We're focusing on offense quite a bit for the last, as one guy can't forget about is tight end Daniel Bellinger. Well, there's so much excitement surrounding Waller. Oh, yeah. One of the best tight ends in the game when healthy. Bellinger's coming off a strong rookie season, and he'll hope to do the same thing for Dable and company in year 2. And he's got his shield on, so hopefully nobody be jabbing him in the eyeballs and breaking his eye socket this year. What really prevented Bellinger from taking off last season was a serious eye injury he suffered during the upset win over the Jaguars. Bellinger missed a large chunk of the campaign, but a lot of people were impressed with Bellinger, a 4th-round pick, when he was on the field. Absolutely. I mean, his blocking ability, he's not gonna totally wow you with his pass receiving ability, but the one, it's once again, it's a theory of relative. Everything's relative, right? If you got yourself Darren Waller going over here, occupying a couple guys, right? You got Saquon coming out of the backfield, maybe going over here. You might have an eye or two on him. You got Hyatt over here taking off down there. You might have another safety being over the top over him. Starts opening stuff up, and then you get maybe a Bellinger or something over the middle, kind of opens the stuff up, right? I mean, it all depends. A lot of it is something I'm going to go over with Daniel Jones in a little bit. PFF graded him number 17 overall. There's a couple stats here that they need to improve upon. Is throwing it deep. Opening stuff up. I mean, you're just dinking and dunking and dinking and dunking. Guess what happens? It's like constantly being in the red zone. You know how much the field shrinks when you're in the red zone? I mean, these athletes are freaking phenomenal. I mean, it's hard enough to complete a pass at midfield, much less in the red zone. I mean, you start shrinking that field. I mean, it makes it so difficult. You got to open it up. That's what the Eagles can do, right? DeVonta Smith, but A.J. Brown, just send it dude deep. Jalin Hyatt just throws the ball down there. A.J. Brown can have 13 guys on him. Somehow he comes down with the ball. I don't know how he does it, but he opens it up. You'd be amazed. Some of these guys who don't have the speed or maybe the best route running ability, whatever, but when stuff starts opening it up, and underneath, Bellinger might be a mismatch for a linebacker, right? So, I'm going to go over one of these stats that Daniel Jones, was just something they need to, him and Kafka and all that, they need to do something about big time this year. Let's see. PFF did give the Giants, a grade of an A for the offseason move so far, and I gotta agree with them. Trying to be as honest and partial as I can be. I think the Giants, let's say PFF, New York's offense has to be offseason offense. Offseason has to begin with the contract they gave to Daniel Jones. Rather than use the franchise tag, the Giants handed Daniel Jones a new deal, a substantial risk. Yeah, no. I mean, he had a good year. He led him to the playoffs last year, got him to a win. $40 million. Yeah, but I mean, now all of a sudden, I'm like, what? Once Burrow gets signed, Herbert gets signed, I mean, Daniel Jones's contract's going to be like right around the middle of the pack. You're going to have, 13, 14 guys or so be paid more than he is. Okay. But one that freed up salary cap space to spend elsewhere. Tight end Darren Waller was a nice gamble that took some of the cap flexibility, and it can't be overlooked that allowed them to tag Saquon instead. But overall, their veteran additions didn't take great advantage of that cap flexibility. Well, and then PFF also, they gave the Giants an A for their offseason moves. It says, in the draft, the Giants saw the first two rounds unfold in an ideal way. In the first round, they got Deonte Banks. And then in the second round, the center, obviously, Michael Schmitz, who many had been expecting them to draft a round higher. Then they got receiver Jalen Hyatt in the third round as another selection that brings a lot of upside, giving the Giants an elite first 2 days of the draft. Absolutely. But what they're doing here, is with PFF, they're grading their off season. They're not saying the Giants are an A team. They're not saying, they're getting ready to kick in the Super Bowl door. Now, but what they are saying is that, what they did in the off season was really good. What did they do? They had their little weakness on, and I said, you can't fix everything in 1 year. You just can't say, well, we have 7 holes and we can use some depth here. We can use some depth there. And you take your magic wand and boom. All right, we're good. We're good. All right, let's go. We're ready for the Super Bowl, guys. No, that's not the way it works. If you start bringing in all these free agents, stuff like that, you could be setting yourself up for some major, major trouble. So it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to maybe a couple of years. Let's hope maybe next year we add a few more pieces to the puzzle and we get a little bit better. But what they are saying, the PFF, is that what the Giants did this offseason, right? I mean, we added to the running backs, right? We got Eric Gray. So, whether you like Brightwell, whether he's on the team or not or whatever, right? We got Breida back. Barkley's playing for us this year, no matter what. Whether it's a franchise tag or we sign whatever, he's playing. So you got Barkley, you got Breida. I don't know if Brightwell's there, but we added Gray. Gray looks like somebody you want to like to see him on the field, maybe returning kickoffs. Except for they got that new kickoff rule where if the ball lands in the 20 beyond the 25-yard line, I think they can just wave their hands and just they'll bring the ball out to the 25. So they're trying it this year to see what it looks like. I mean, it'll help on player safety a lot. So we'll have to see how many kickoffs actually get returned this year. But then you go to the offensive line. We were a little thin on the offense, right? We got ourselves a center, right? Did we fix maybe everything? Well, you don't know because we don't know what we got with Azeez Ojulari, right? So we still might need, we might going to need somebody maybe to have replace Kowinski after this season. But we added to the offensive line. We added to our tight ends. We got Waller. I mean, straight up, weapon. What did we do with the wide receivers? We were a little thin maybe on the wide receivers, but we had a lot of guys injured last year. But what did we do this? I mean, we brought in, Smith, might be a special teams if he makes the team. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, we brought in Crowder, right? Brought in Campbell. We had Hodgins. We brought back Slayton. We brought back Shepard. Wan'Dale Robinson's coming back. We got Hyatt in the third round. We got Bryce Wheaton. So we added, I mean, holy crap. Did we add a number one straight up dog? No, I don't think. I think we're a little, no. But did we add like speed and, yeah. Oh, yeah. So on the offense, the only thing we didn't add to basically was the quarterbacks. We lost Davis Webb. Got Tommy DeVito, so we'll have to wait and see what he can do. But we signed Daniel Jones. But, I mean, on the offense, I mean, we added everywhere. Go to the defense. The problem was on the defense last year, one of the biggest problems was what? The run. We had no depth in the inside. If we had to take Sexy Dexy off the field or Leonard Williams or whatever, the run defense really struggled. It struggled, period, even with those guys on the field. So what did we do? We added two. We got Nunez Roches and A'Shawn Robinson. So now we got Leonard Williams and Sexy Dexy, and then we got two guys behind them. So if one comes off the field, you're not going to get much in the pass rush at all from Robinson or Nunez Roches, but it's stopping the run. And speaking of stopping the run, we brought in Mr. Okereke, the tackling machine himself, sideline to sideline, 10 to 15 tackles a game. Let's hope the guy can stay healthy. We're getting Darian Beavers back. Right, that wasn't necessarily an off-season move that the Giants did, but we had Darian Beavers. Right, Jared Davis. Right, he was kind of thrown into the fire when we finally got him. So maybe he looked a little off balance. I mean, you bring him in. All right, yeah, there you go, dude. Learn the playbook, and there I go. You might have some problems. Might have a few hiccups early on, but let's see what he can do in year two. Micah McFadden, he's a little limited. He's not he's a fill the gap in kind of banger and all that, but he's a little limited. But I said we got Beavers, but we added to the inside linebackers. We lost Julian Love, but we got McCain. Okay, but we did get Javarius Owens and right. But we need could use a cornerback. Well, we got Mr. Banks. So the only thing we really didn't add much to, I mean, if you go like through the whole lineup, I mean, maybe we didn't really upgrade at safety at all. We lost Julian Love. We got McKinney. Okay, so I think we got a little bit better cornerback. Inside linebacker, we got a Okereke. The defensive line, the only thing maybe was the edge rusher. Okereke raved about. Yeah, he did. He said he talked about. He said, did he say Davis? He said McFadden. He said Beavers. I think he said Davis too. He said those three guys. He said, yeah. But well, I mean. He can say all he wants, but I mean, I'm just trying to remember like what happened when we were on the field last year, as far as trying to stop the run, because McFadden, he's, good at maybe in the box, coming down and filling the hole and all of that, but he's not the greatest in coverage. And even sometimes when McFadden was on the field, we still had trouble tackling. So, I mean, that's why it's, thank goodness we got a Okereke there. I mean, because what he can do. I mean, he had it was involved in like 17 tackles against the Giants. I mean, the dude was freaking. He was the one that he hit Daniel Jones. They were talking about that too. He said, "You talk to Daniel Jones at all after that hit from last year?" I think he kind of kept it on the down low. He said, "Yeah, I talked to him a little bit." But, so, I mean, we added like all over the place, so, as I said, did we, add enough where we're knocking on the Super Bowl door? No. Do we still have some, yeah. And as I said, even we maybe really didn't add, we got Baldonado, interesting to see maybe what he can do, what he can do. Maybe we'll actually see Ellison Smith on the field for an extended time this year, right? But we didn't really add a whole lot to the edge rusher. But, I mean, if you look all around the whole roster, the Giants really did a very, very nice job. We got a lot of competition out there. And, the best guys make the final 53. But if each year we keep adding a little bit more and a little bit more, I said, next year we should, be a little bit better, right? And then I saw PFF, they graded Daniel Jones number 17 overall. Well, some of it, okay, was, they were talking about, they gave him right there, for his running ability. PFF quarterback rankings. Where does Daniel Jones land? They landed him at number 17 overall. Organized team activities are underway around the NFL, and we're slowly inching toward July training camps. Yeah, you figure like within 2 months we'll be in training camps. Wow. Before you know it, preseason football will be upon us, and the excitement of regular season will build. It's unbelievable, guys. Absolutely unbelievable. How each team performs in 20 will largely depend on the starting quarterback, right? After an impressive 2022 campaign, the Giants quarterback Daniel Jones, did he do enough to sway his detractors even a little bit? In the minds of Pro Football Focus, not so much. They rank him number 17th overall, and that's largely and they gave him number 17 because of his running ability. Well, not only because, but because of his good running ability. If he was like Eli Manning, right? He didn't run much. They would probably have him ranked in the 20s somewhere. I find it a little bit difficult to believe. It says here, in his first year with Brian Double as coach, Jones saw an uptick in results, but his performance didn't necessarily match that improvement, albeit with very little help around him. Yeah, do they take that into account? They put him at number 17. Do they take him into account, like, what the offensive line is, what his weapons are? Do they take that stuff into account? It says, let's see, Jones is ranked below other quarterbacks such as Deshaun Watson, Derek Carr, Jared Goff, and turnover-prone Dak Prescott. Wow. Jones has now posted a big-time throw rate under 2% for 2 consecutive. Yeah, this is one of the things I'm going to go over. A couple of years ago, they had him throwing down deep. And a lot of that because maybe we just don't quite have the weapons, or they're a little worried about him being able to stand in the pocket for an extra second or so without getting his head taken off. That could be. It says, he posted a big-time throw rate of under 2% for 2 consecutive seasons, which is the lowest mark in the league. His rushing threat, however, is a huge boost to that offense, and he should have more success in 2023 with better players to target. Jones has had little opportunity for success through the air in recent seasons due to a combination of injuries, poor pass protection, and lacking threats at skill positions. The Giants have been among the league's worst in drop passes. Oh, my God. Man's game lost in separation and spacing. Oh, my God. They hit that right on the, so they take any of this stuff into account when they rate him number 17 at all. Because, also it says here, provided the team can stay healthy, the league might finally be able to see what Jones, who is the NFL's best deep ball passer in a second season, is capable of. But if you look at some of, let's see here, big time throws last year. Josh Allen led the league big time throws with 52, according to Pro Football Focus. Okay. Now, let's see, Daniel Jones, he was like way to frick down. Where are we at here? I got to find it. He was number 32. He had eight big time throws last year. 8. Now, he's behind other guys like Carson Wentz, who only played in 8 games, Matthew Stafford. But even so, if you think about this, right? Daniel Jones, okay, had 8 big time throws last year, according to Pro Football Focus, right? Carson seemed to make fun of a lot. Played in only 8 games for the Commanders, but he had 13 big-time throws. He had 5 more big-time throws than Daniel Jones in only half the games. Carson Wentz. Okay. So, let's see. Let's see now. Let's see. What is, I gotta look at some of these turnover-worthy plays. Daniel Jones, let's see. His turnover-worthy plays weren't too bad. I got to find him here. He did. Well, he had 21 turnover-worthy plays last year. It was tied for 8th turnover-worthy plays. So that's not really good either. Let's see here. His average depth of target. Here we go. Okay. Now, some of these guys, like Jameis Winston played in 3 games. His average depth of target was 12 yards. I mean, he was throwing the ball. Tyrod Taylor, he only played in 2 games. His average depth of target was 11.1 yards. I mean, with some guys, Josh Allen, okay, just to go to show you, he had 754 dropbacks. His average depth of target was 10.2 yards. So basically, okay, when Josh Allen threw the ball, he was throwing the ball about a first down, right, for about 10 yards. Daniel Jones, I got to find him. Where the heck is he at? He was number 70 overall. Now, of course, these including guys who've only played a game or 2, so it's a little misleading, but his average depth of target was 6.5 yards. 6.5 yards. So I'm saying it kind of goes hand in hand with like some of those big time throws, like the big time throw, like Danny dropping a dime down the field and all of that. 6.5 yards. I mean, as I said, a lot of it's maybe the lack of speed maybe we had last year, maybe the lack of talent. The guys maybe had a hard time getting open. They'll maybe keeping them clean in the pocket and all and everything. Had a lot to do with it. What I do want to say also is Daniel Jones is also, as I said this in one of my other videos, is kind of get that Tom Brady thing going, dropping back the pass. First target, second target, third target, boom. First target, second, what I mean? Instead of like one target and, okay, looking at the second target and, bouncing around first, second, third, fourth, Now that he'll be in the same system with Kafka and Dable, hopefully he'll be reacting more and thinking less, because once if you drop him back there and you're thinking, you're asking for a lot of trouble. So if can he react, can he go through his progressions better than he did last year? Hopefully he can. But I mean, some of these things he needs to, or either he or they need to allow him to throw the ball down deep a little bit farther. But some of it, I mean, is also, you look here, I mean, drops. Where we got Daniel Jones. They had, he was tied for 5th with drops. According to PFF, he had 30 drops. All right. But the one thing here that, right, he was, what was he? If I can find him. They got so many quarterbacks here. Here we go. He was number 10. But there's other guys in front of him, like Brian Hoyer, who only dropped back 7 times. So, I mean, basically, Daniel Jones, as far as starting quarterback, okay, his adjusted percentage. Now, let me read this correctly here. They got it here on PFF. There we go. Adjusted completion percentage. The percentage of aimed passes thrown on target would be completions plus dropped divided by aimed. All right. So basically, Daniel Jones was number 1 in the league with his adjusted percentage. According to that, he had 80%. So basically, 4 out of every 5 passes were adjusted and completed. So his adjusted completion percentage would have been like 80% if you took away his drop passes. Now, that's good, that he's number 1, but it's also a little misleading because a lot of his passes were so close. Other guys are throwing the ball deeper down the field. Obviously, you're going to have more incompletions than Daniel Jones. But you got to hope in that with the speed that they got, let's hope Michael Schmitz is able to, keep the pressure off of him coming up the middle. Let's hope Nevin Neal takes a step forward. We got Andrew Thomas. Sometimes Glowinski did okay. Other times he got bull rushed back into Daniel Jones last year. Let's hope maybe Azudu or Bredesen, whoever winds up winning the left guard spot, can do good. So if we can give him a nice little pocket in there And with the speed that we got, if we can open stuff up, maybe Daniel Jones can start sailing the ball down the field a little bit more. It'd be nice to see that. Plus, also, I forgot what it is, but it's the percentage of you scoring like even a field goal or a touchdown on a drive goes way up. If you have a play of 20 yards or more, the Giants really lacked in that big time last year. I mean, it's so difficult to, okay, well, we're going to run 3 plays. We'll get a first down. Then we'll get a 4-yard, a 5-yard, a 3-yard. And then we'll get a 5-yard, a 4-yard, and a 2-yard. And then we'll get a 7-yard and 1. We'll have a 19 play drive and we'll score a touchdown. There you go. That's so tough to do. So tough without a turnover, without a sack, without a couple penalties taking you out of field goal range. That's so difficult. If you can get those big plays in there, that's huge. Absolutely huge. Number 17, I don't know. I don't know about that, but it is what it is. The one thing for PFF to grade them lower next year, you got to start. 15 touchdowns and 5 interceptions is I guess not going to do it. But if hopefully this year with the weapons that we have, second season in the same offensive system, hopefully better protection. The 5 might go up, especially if you're throwing the ball deep. But, man, if we can get 25 TD passes, that would be pretty sweet. Especially if we're playing 16, 17 games. Hopefully we can stay healthy. 25 touchdown passes would be pretty nice. I can see that, something like that. But we got to open stuff up. Well, it's been 46 minutes. Terrence, as always, buddy, good talking to you, pal. Thank you. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. So anybody spends any time at all watching me, thank you. If anybody spends any time at all watching the replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.